As we all know, Hyperia at Thorpe Park is broken yet again. Since opening back in May 2024, there's been no end of issues that have been happening to Hyperia. This marks the third time that it's vallied in less than a year. You'd think with the cutting edge technology that companies like Mat Rides have, they wouldn't design a coaster that valleys after its crazy outer bank. But hey, if they did that, I wouldn't have a video. Welcome back to another episode of C.R.A.P, Crumpz Rambles About Parks. Yeah, and there's been a slight gap between the episodes, but I'm back.
I'm back.
And we've got a hell of a lot to cover this week. Oh, last 3 weeks. God damn, I'm not very good at this, am I? So, how do we fix it?
Fix it, Macamus.
On a real note, this ride's had nothing but issues since day one. Stalling on the lift hill, constant chain problems, and of course, these glorious valleys. At this point, you feel bad for Thorpe Park. Now, I'm no engineer here, but maybe, just maybe, we could try some of these ideas. We should probably ensure that test dummies are actually on the trains and they're fully weighted. Or, hear me out, add LSM boosters to stop rollbacks. Or just replace the chain completely with LSM launch. I mean, that's what Mac is good at making. So let's just make that happen, alright Mac? Seriously, I'm not crazy, I just want little things like that to happen. Meanwhile, over at Alton Towers, Hex is finally back open. As advertised, it has opened from the 1st of April, and it was not an April Fool's joke. I mean, seriously, I'm so happy that it's back, and I cannot wait to get back on it this year. The Rapids are also making a return from 12 PM daily on April 7th, but as for the Skyride, still no committed date to opening yet. All we've got is April at some point, which is better than closing for the whole 2025 season. But I am waiting for them to change their website to that. Closed for the 2025 season. However, we have seen plenty of testing for the Skyride, so it should be back fairly soon. Oh, I also forgot to mention that when Hyperia is down, if you head over to one of the first aid centres, they can send you to a lovely spa retreat. First come, first serve though. What a nice addition. Over at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, we've finally got some massive news. Literally. A brand new 138-foot tall Intamin Gyro Swing is coming in 2026. Finally. Something at Blackpool that just isn't clinging on to its nostalgia. This thing is going to be huge, and I cannot wait to see how it fits into the lineup. Meanwhile, over at Launchpad, progress is actually being made. Yes, you heard that right. It's almost done. Maybe, just maybe, it'll finally open before the 2026 season. And lastly, Wallace & Gromit's Thrillomatic is getting some gnome improvements. No, seriously, they're adding more gnomes, because that's exactly what the ride was missing. I mean, this comes after the release and success of Wallace & Gromit's new film, Vengeance Most Foul, which is amazing for those of you that haven't watched it yet. Over at Legoland, they're rebuilding the main entrance. And in true Legoland fashion, they're making it a scaled-down minifigure version. Jokes aside, it's great to see them invest in the park's infrastructure, and I think that this newer, improved entrance could be amazing. As long as it's not made out of Lego bricks, because I don't really think I'm going to fit through it. And it might not be too weather resistant. Somehow Merlin has managed to pull enough cash out of their magic hat to build 2 brand new indoor coasters at 2 separate resorts in America. I mean, where did this money just suddenly come from? Did they find it in some sort of buried... Oh, no, I know. It must have come from the dungeons. They must have found this sort of money in the dungeons, somewhere in Alton Towers. Or perhaps it's all the people that they're charging for the fast track. Or it's the Alton Towers extortionate food prices. Look, there's plenty of ways that they could have got this cash from, and I'm just gutted that we're not getting 2 new indoor coasters here in the UK. Until 2026. Ba-da-ba-dum. Chessington have kicked off the 2025 season with, well, half the park. With Wild Asia and Mexicana both shut down, with some of them returning in 2026 and the other area returning in 2027. It'll be interesting to see how this affects queue times in the summer, because let's be real, Chessington queues are already borderline painful on a good day. But hey, at least the closures mean big investments are on the way. So hopefully it'll all be worth it. Pleasurewood Hills has completely revamped Wipeout, their classic Vekoma Boomerang coaster, and honestly, it's about time. The track has been fully repainted, giving it a fairly fresh new look, and the operating system has been upgraded, which should hopefully mean fewer breakdowns. Though, let's be real, it's still a Vekoma Boomerang. The station has also received some improvements, making the whole experience a little less like queuing in a warehouse, but the biggest change? lap bar restraints. You heard it here first, guys. That is absolutely insane. I mean, actually, you probably didn't hear it here first, because this was announced over 5 weeks ago. But either way, tell everybody you heard it here first. No more awkward, over-the-shoulder restraints trying to take your head off. This could make the ride a hell of a lot smoother, and perhaps it could even be enjoyable. Speaking of things that assault the senses, Toxicator leaked sewage on its opening day, which is very fitting with the theme. They've clearly been to some Universal parks in preparation for Universal Studios coming to the UK. And, well, Alton Towers have really upped their theming game, haven't they? But I mean, while the smell might be gone, the god-awful squeaking noise is still very much alive. Hopefully that fades over time. And by that, I mean the squeaking noise, not the whole ride. Alton Towers, please don't get rid of the flat ride just because it's squeaking. I promise I love it really. So heading over to America now, over in Six Flags Great America, they are testing that brand new Boomerang launched flash coaster. I don't really know what to think of this thing as... I really don't know what to think of this thing though. It looks really tacky and kind of pathetic almost. And I just don't really understand the whole logistics of opening up a brand new ride and it's a boomerang. So the throughput is just going to be absolutely awful, especially because of the size of the layout as well. It's quite a long layout. And imagine waiting that long to get on a... Right. But this thing is standing at over 180 foot tall. We've also seen much more testing footage coming out from Universal Studios. And I mean, at night as well, this thing looks insane. There's been some really cool aerial shots of the actual park. And wow, I honestly cannot wait to go there. Obviously, the park is opening up on May the 22nd. So we're not even that far away now from the grand opening day. I'm going to try and stay away from spoilers, which I think with modern day internet, that's going to be basically impossible. But we could try. We leave the most exciting and best news for last, right? That is Universal's Great Britain has been mentioned again in Parliament, which obviously is huge because it means it's not forgotten about. I genuinely think that we could see an announcement for the Great Britain Universal Studios coming very, very shortly after Epic Universe opens. So I'm predicting July, August time, we could perhaps see an announcement for Universal Studios Great Britain. And that is it for this week's episode of C.R.A.P. And I say this week's episode, this week covers the last 3 weeks of C.R.A.P. because, well, unfortunately I have a job and yeah, I can't quite make weekly updates for things because it's just not feasible. However, hopefully you did enjoy this episode and I've actually brought some news to you, or at least brought news to you in a funnier light perhaps. If you haven't already, then make sure to subscribe and check out some of my other videos.
Chessington has a new car park. Look at these guys. Wow.